My name is Julian Norton-Smith. I'm a former Australian and world champion. Also, I am the head coach and business owner of Paddle 2 Fitness. My early years as an athlete was out of Tasmania, from Burnie. While I was young, I did swim and board, and obviously moving into my teenage years, started surf ski paddling. So my first year as a senior, I made both the finals in the K1 500 and 1000, got the scholarship to the Australian Institute of Sport, and then I had to choose to obviously leave Burnie in Tasmania and come to the Gold Coast in Queensland, to then follow, I guess, an Australian championship, a world championship, and hopefully an Olympic Games. This was a good solid decade of my life, trying to get to the Olympics. Came pretty close 3 times, probably less than a second most of the times, either from my performances here in Australia or making the Australian team and not quite getting there in an Australian team boat. But the journey, as I look back now, was very enjoyable. The journey and learning that you're not always going to get to your goals, but they may not be your true goals yet. You may be still on the path to finding out what you actually are going to be good at and what you're going to do for the rest of your life. So after missing out on the last Olympics, I decided to move to London, just get away from, I guess, sport, get away from uni, and it was just time to sort of break free and go overseas. On returning from overseas, so we're about 2007, 2008, I guess I was at a crossroads on what I wanted to do. I did construction in London and absolutely loved it, but there was a void in me that I hadn't paddled or had anything to do with paddling for quite a while. So I decided to start a hobby and call that hobby Paddle 2 Fitness. So within a couple of months, I had started a business. 3 major events were here on the Gold Coast that I thought that I could help just recreational paddlers do. And after a couple of letterbox jobs and calling a couple of surf clubs, I picked up my first 4 or 5 athletes. I started coaching at one of the surf clubs as the ski coach, and before I knew it, I had a business. That started back in 2008, and we're now 2025. And there's been some ups and downs along the way, but again, the journey from being an elite athlete to now being a professional coach, passing on those thoughts, my intellectual property, my understanding of training programs to now my athletes, is what I feel my journey is meant to be.
What does paddle fitness mean to me? Okay, well, I needed something to challenge my fitness and health. I've stopped going to the gym a few years ago and needed a new challenge, and so I decided to join Paddle 2 Fitness because my husband had been paddling with Julian for probably about 4 or 5 years.
I started out with Paddle 2 Fitness really just to try and get better on a surf ski, and that was about 4 years ago. And I have gotten better on a surf ski, and it's become more about the group of people now, just a great bunch of people to be around.
I remember talking to Scott Sharples about Julian, and remember he had a group called Paddle 2 Fitness, and so we called him up, came for my first session, and the way he just taught me, I just knew that he was a coach for me.
He's so generous at passing it on to everybody in the club. Love his passion, love his enthusiasm, and he just provides that motivation to get up and get going in the morning. And I know that people think we are crazy getting up that early 3 times a week, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
My main goal was to bring beginners into paddling, to teach them what craft to use, what paddle to use, teach them a more efficient technique, even if you've never paddled before or you've started to paddle, reduce injuries, and that has just snowballed over the years. There's been hundreds, if not thousands, of paddlers that I've been able to help directly or indirectly over those years. And I'm proud to say that I have a business and a brand that people now trust, that if they want to know anything about paddling and they Google how to surf ski paddle or what to do on a surf ski, that Paddle to Fitness is one of the first businesses that come up. Moving forward, I find that I am now still loving what I do, welcoming people every week or every month to the Paddle to Fitness brand, either here in Queensland or remotely around the world, and just explaining and educating to them the importance of a balanced training program and a more efficient technique.